mother is from Gaza, and I had all my childhood in Gaza, so it's home.
Our battle very much was about making sure that Palestine is not seen as a land with no people, with no land.
Herbicide, genocide is an architectural crime.
We can contribute to rebuilding efforts in Gaza is to centre the Gazan people themselves, centre their voices.
Even before the latest genocide that has been unfolding, we've been working with Gaza as a research group called Palestine Regeneration Team in rethinking ways to reconstruct Gaza, especially that Gaza went through a lot of destruction following the Israeli attacks on it and the siege that has been occurring for years.
One of the main objectives of us setting up Palestine Regeneration Team was to set up an alternative voice. We felt that it was important that we show the power and also the creativity of the Palestinians resisting occupation, resisting the exploitation of their land.
Architecture has an ethical statement to heal spaces and create spaces. And also it can also be a dangerous practice to occupy, to colonize, to divide, to destroy. Sadly, the recent attack that started following the October events, the destruction, the mass destruction that was happening in Gaza, we felt as architects that we need to make a stand and we need to take an ethical position collectively, and therefore we've decided to co-found, really the credit goes initially to Nasser Golzari, to co-found Architects for Gaza as a way to get people together and make a statement. But also to think of ways to heal the destruction and make the voice heard of the locals.
So when we set Architects for Gaza up, it was really to do with making sure that a number of things that were taking place, from education, which was very immediate, to homes, to repairs, to working with the materials that exist, working with any practices that exist, can actually enable the Palestinians to continue the resistance and hopefully to be able to reconstruct.
What really drew me to join them was just the fact that I think it's so important that each different professional in their own background, in their own field and profession, uses the skills that they have to support Gazans in some way. Everyone's got different skills and each group has something different that they can contribute. And so architecture has something as well to give with that.
One of the projects I've been involved with has been on an infrastructural site to do with water management and regeneration of an important site in Gaza that is both civic and social and also infrastructural. We have worked with our Gaza local partners and international partners very closely and iteratively throughout the war. We were taking our cues from them.
In 2010, when I first went to Gaza working with UN Habitat, UNDP and a number of other institutions, our first objective was to be able to set up a system where families can rebuild their homes using the facilities, because there was a embargo, there's a siege around Gaza that no material was coming in. So we thought, okay, the way to do it is for us as architects go and develop a technique and practice where people can rebuild their homes based on materials that is available. A kind of an ecological practice. This was for us very important, and it is even more important now that the memories of those homes and streets and neighborhoods are maintained as a representation of history, of the life that the Palestinian and Gaza has. So in a way, strongly objecting and rejecting the idea of a blank canvas, that Gaza can be erased and rebuilt based on some fancy urban strategy, which some people have done. Because of the destruction, when we were there in 2010, and it was far less destruction than it is now, we knew that you cannot build something that others to come to. We had to go to those places. So this idea was for it to move on to go to different classrooms, to different places. But when the 2023 event took place, this mobility became even more important. And this actually then formed the basis of our participation in the British Pavilion in the Architecture Biennale in Venice 2025.
Our statement in the Biennale was to create a prototype that could enable discussion and ideas around rebuilding. So rather than it being a model of a room or a specific space that you would rebuild and live in, it's more a collection of different ideas that come together. And I think the important thing with it is that it starts a discussion about rebuilding in Gaza and gets people thinking in an imaginative way about rebuild.
This year the Venice Biennale's theme is about sustainability, and it's about the environment. And it cannot be any more important to address people being able to rebuild their destroyed homes within their own practices, cultural practices, skills that they know. One of the impacts that our presence had at the Venice Biennale was the fact that quite a large number of people, media, as well as very many young generation of architects came to us and they said, why is not any other any other installation talking about Gaza and Palestine in Venice?
One of the important actions that Architects for Gaza have taken is writing a letter of demands to the Royal Institute of British Architects that has been signed by over 700 architects and urban design professionals, and is open for everybody to go and read and sign, demanding accountability and demanding the RIBA take a stance against the genocide, the herbicide that is taking place in Gaza right now.
We cannot wait for ceasefire. We cannot wait till the war is over. The idea of repair, the idea of reconstruction, the idea of making sure that people are able to live continuously while the bombings are being dropped is an important role for Architects of Gaza.
Rather than acting as though there's no context in Gaza or in Palestine and just coming in and imposing a brand new scheme, it's important to honour and to respect the people who are already there and the lives that are there, the culture that's there, the architectural history, the heritage, and to enhance that and see how that can be strengthened